An increase in airfares and the cost of food has meant inflation rose by more than expected last month. The cost of goods and services increased by nearly 4%, almost double the Bank of England's target. Well, Stephen's here to help us see how it affects us, and little sign of price rises actually stopping.
Absolutely. It's been a difficult few years for households, as we keep reporting on, and this will be more unwelcome news. An unexpected further increase in prices will put pressure on household budgets. Now, the latest figure out today shows inflation, of course, the costs of goods and services is at 3.8%, up from the previous month and actually the highest since January of last year. Now, the Bank of England has a target to get inflation to around 2%. You can see that by the dotted line. It was under 1% back here in sort of 2021. We've got to a peak in October of 2022 at just over 11%. Actually, in September of last year, we did creep underneath that 2% target, but it's been going up to where we are today, that 3.8%. Let's throw in the reasons behind that, and in particular, you can see petrol and energy prices there in the orange and the food prices in the bright green. That has really been pushing up prices. Actually, energy prices have come down. Food in particular, that has been a struggle for households in recent years. Here's how food inflation has fared just in the past year. 12 months ago, July last year, 1.5%. The start of this year, it went more than 3%. And now we're just under 5%, at 4.9%. So what about different individual food items that you might look to pick up at the supermarket? Well, beef, it's been on the increase in the past year or so by just over 20%. Likewise, butter, chocolate and coffee have all increased. On the flip side, sugar and olive oil, they've actually fallen. And those who are helping people who are struggling most at the moment, they're saying they're seeing a real increase in the demand for their services.
We have got an increase in individual people, single families, families with children, pensioners. Mostly it's people that are maybe living on their own or, as I say, with children. You know, we buy a lot of things so we can see the price increases. So people are struggling, they've only got a set amount of income, but their prices are going up all the time.
Now, the bank thinks that it can get inflation to its 2% target by the second quarter of 2027. So we're still some way off of that. We know the Bank of England has dropped interest rates to get inflation down, but despite the increased inflation recently, it dropped interest rates to 4% this month. That's because it doesn't think the wider economy is growing fast enough. That's had an impact, the interest rates, on mortgages. The average 2-year fixed rate mortgage now sits just below 5%. The 5-year fixed deal at exactly 5%. Saving rates, though, are down too, so it's not great if you're hoping to try and save more. Then there comes pay, and of course we've seen a lot about pay negotiations in recent years, but the bank expects pay growth to continue, but to slow down as the year goes on to under 4%. Once again then, the cost of living doesn't show much sign of easing.